talk about trading with a 9 to 5, the truth of it, the reality. Make sure to stick around as I tell you my experience of 4 years of trading started in 2020, 2 years trading with a full-time job, 2 years of full-time trading, and what I learned from that from the conclusion. But I'm on my way right now driving back from a day on the east side of Oahu. Took Nalani to dog training. She's working on her advanced trick dog title. Went to the farmer's market, and Sunday I hung out with a bunch of friends on the beach, went bodyboarding, stopped for a little hike to waterfall on the way back. Tomorrow's Monday, getting back at it. Do I have a 9 to 5 right now or no? I don't. Anyways, let's get into it. So you may be watching this because you have a 9 to 5 and you're wondering, you feel like maybe you don't have enough time and you're wondering what it would be like to full-time trade. Or you might also be watching this because you're full-time trading and you're wondering if you should go back to a 9 to 5 or a regular job. And let me just start from a financial perspective. My first 2 years trading with a 9 to 5, it wasn't a 9 to 5 actually. I started work at 6:30 a.m. finished typically at 4:30 a.m. and I had 2 1-hour breaks. So I was working more than 40 hours, but around 40 hours in my job. And I also had a coaching business, was doing YouTube and life coaching. I was busy. Those first 2 years I did incredibly well. I knew I didn't have time to day trade. I knew I didn't have time to do much. Bought Bitcoin low coming out of the March 2020 crash. I started buying it in the summertime, kept scaling in. It was more than investing though, because I took out debt and leverage to build my position up to the maximum possible size. And I began to scale out, and actually in November 2021, right at the top, made my first sales at 50-some thousand, and my average exit wasn't too much below that. So I did very well with the 9 to 5. And then my experience trading full-time, relatively full-time, was a lot of time staring at the charts, lots of trades. In 2 years, I don't know if I took 1,000 trades. Probably I took 1,000 actions for sure. I don't know about 1,000 trades. I lost money in those 2 years. So from a financial perspective, I actually think that it is easier to make money trading as a side thing than as a main thing, and I'm going to tell you why. It's psychological, but it's also strategic. And then make sure to stick around because I'm going to talk about the lifestyle advantage as well of full-time versus full-time employment versus full-time trading. But there's a psychological component, which we'll get to in a moment, but the strategy generally, always, look at what does Warren Buffett do? He's a trader, yeah, but he's more of an investor. It's all about time in the market. Timing matters and asset selection matters, but investors do very well, and the best traders typically are investor-style traders. So that works fine with the 9 to 5. You don't need more time, right? It can help, but if you have a vision of the future, it doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, it takes time passing. It doesn't take time of you taking action, right? If you think crypto's the future, or your meme coin's the future, or you think the stock market's going to go higher, just buy it and wait and go do something else with your life. When you are trying to trade for an income, you start to trade inferior strategies, and you can make money in other ways. You can make money going short. You can make money trading lower time frames. It's much harder. It's much more difficult. There's much fewer success stories, much more failure stories. A lot of the richest men in the world were investors, traded like investors. Not so many of them were scalpers or trading low time frame. So by being available day to day, the strategy that it unlocks for you is an inferior strategy anyways. Again, you can make money those ways, but it's not as good a strategy as buying and holding the best assets and waiting. Now, there's things that can make that strategy better. Having a stop loss, market timing strategy, maybe having a couple indicators that help you get out at a good price at the top of a market cycle. But those things don't take that much time, right? Because if you think about a crypto cycle, there might be a low that happens every 4 years and a high that happens every 4 years. What are you going to do? Stare at the chart for 4 years? Trade in and out? If you make it your goal to buy somewhere low and sell somewhere high, might as well do something else with your life, right? So that's why, from a strategy perspective, it's better, or there's very little advantage, almost it disadvantages you to try to day trade. The statistics on day trading are terrible. Not only is the failure rate incredibly high from a percentage, but the stories of people becoming depressed, feeling like they've ruined their lives, blowing up all their money, pushing everybody away, a lot of really bad stories. Don't hear as many stories about that from investing, of people who are just stuck with the markets. So that's the financial. I think it's actually easier. And then the psychological related to that is when you have your main job, you don't worry so much about getting shaken out. It's gonna hurt to lose your savings, but when you have an income that covers your expenses, it's not gonna change your lifestyle. Whereas when you're trading for income, there's a lot more pressure to actually make money from the markets. And that psychological pressure leads to short-termism, trying to make money this week, this month, this day, and causes gambling behavior, just a lot of stress. Obviously, when you're any kind of entrepreneur, you have variable income, but trading is the most variable income, because for most entrepreneurs, you at least have some kind of control over your expenses or expectations. You can cut your expenses down. You might not make money, but trading is one where you're going to lose so much money so quickly if you're not careful. So from a psychological perspective, it's also much easier to trade when you have a 9-to-5 or regular job. So now let's talk about the lifestyle. It depends on how much you like your work. For most people, I'd say if you don't like your job, full-time trading is not the solution. If you're underpaid in your job, full-time trading is not the solution. Find a job that you actually like, that you could go out and apply for today, and keep investing on the side. Because on the other side of that, when I was working full-time, I loved my job. I was working on an organic farm. It was during COVID, so there was a lot of money coming in. We were essential workers. Our business was blowing up. I was handling the marketing. I was doing volunteer days. I was working with a young team from all around the world. I was running volunteer days. It was a very social job, very busy. And then my side job, I was doing life coaching. So I was on the phone with men trying to figure out what's the best move in my life right now. And my life was very fulfilling and rewarding. I was an essential worker. I didn't care that I wasn't paid so well, because I'm an essential worker. There's a status, there's a pride in that. Everybody's out of work. I'm on the front lines during COVID growing food, right? Then I decided I'm gonna try scaling back my job, maybe spend some more time on trading. And for one, I just ended up spending a lot of time on the computer, a lot of time on the charts, a lot of time alone, a lot of time stressing out, time at night. My sleep got worse. And I ended up spending a lot of time just going back to the farm and volunteering, because that's kind of the type of work I wanted to do anyways. So I'm telling you, if you're working a 9-to-5, you don't want to day trade for a living. You're still going to be on a schedule, and it's going to be very stressful, and it's going to take way more time up than you think. And it's not going to help you make more money. Less is more with investing and trading. And instead, if you don't like your job, then try to apply to another job, or try to start a business on the side or something like that. People love to work. You might be in a job you really like, and that's underrated. people say you need to follow the money. And it doesn't even need to be something you're passionate about. It's just something that's social. You like your coworkers. You feel like it matters. You're busy. Do these things. So essentially, I'm telling you not to quit your day job and invest with market timing and a stop loss. And that doesn't take very much time. It's not very time sensitive. So let's talk about that a little bit as well. And at the end, if you stick to the end, I'm going to give you an idea of a solution or something that can help with this. But the best element of investing that we've talked about, Warren Buffett, time in the market. Buy and hold, quality assets, big picture, once every 4 years, right? Now, the only advantage that trading offers is timing the market and stop loss. Stop loss is really useful, actually, because a lot of the time investors, you buy the top, you're going to be underwater for 4 years and really just sit there with your money. No, you're going to be underwater for a year or 2 years. You're going to get bored. You're going to sell the bottom. Well, you should have been sold out in the first week with your stop loss, right? So stop loss is super valuable, and getting in at a good time is also super valuable. Market timing. Traders have different indicators of, okay, this is the asset I like, and a buy signal just flashed. This is a good time to get in, because historically, when this happens, this is a low risk entry. So if you combine them, you can work your 9 to 5, you can run your business, you can have a family, you can have a busy life, and you can use indicator, time the market with a stop loss, take an action rarely, and work your job. Not really check the charts that often, just manage it like a portfolio, but you have an advantage over the average investor where you've got a stop loss and you have good market timing. So what I'm sharing is me and my teammate, we have an awesome indicator that helps with just that gives buy signals with a stop loss. And there's a lot of indicators out there like this, or there's some, I wouldn't say a lot, there's some indicators out there like this that are focused on good times to buy the dip. None of them structure it like a trade with a stop loss. So that's something unique that we have. And then also I have a system around it that's, you touch grass, I like to say it's so easy a dog could be profitable. You advance your stop at certain points to lock in profit, maybe get stopped out, maybe you don't do anything for months. And some of you might be thinking, this sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, because you still have to wait for the market. And the strategy I'm explaining to you is a low win rate, but it's better than being underwater. So for instance, if you buy the top as an investor and then you're underwater for 4 years waiting for it to come up, you end up losing a lot of time, and maybe you don't lose money along the way, but what if instead you tried buying here and there at critical points, and then you suffer a series of small losses on the way down where you lose 1%, and then you lose 1%, and then you lose 1%, instead of being 50%, 75% underwater, and then you catch the bottom and it rallies 100%, 200%, and it gets back to that high point that you were in before, but you just got stopped out 3, 4, 5 times, and then your winning position runs hundreds of percent. That is the reality of trading this way. So it's low win rate, high patience, and but if you stick with it, it's insane. I mean, I've seen it. This is what I did in 2020, 2021 with Bitcoin. Is just get in the market and at the right time and wait, and then have some kind of an exit signal to get out near the top. And then you don't necessarily need to be underwater for 3 years. So there'll be a link to that in the bio. You can check it out. If you're watching this video, it may or may not be out yet, but there's a link where you can put in your phone number and email, and I'll alert you when when it's available. Hopefully, it's supposed to be this week. It was supposed to be last week. Hopefully this week or the next week. Soon. Got the developer working on it, but taking longer than expected. So yeah, don't quit your day job. You're not missing out on anything. Focus on having a job that you enjoy, and invest on the side with market timing and a stop loss, and that's way better. If you really want to experience day trading, you can, but I'm telling you, most people have a bad time with it and don't stick with it. And I'm one of those people, and I'm back into the world of investing, but I am happy that with my time trading that I learned some good market timing and indicator ideas. So much love. Talk to you soon. Sunset coming down, driving next to the ocean now. Dogs poop behind us. Peace.